Yeah. So as we were discussing, 1 crore 12 lakh 65,217 or 2 crore 5 lakhs. The answer is 1 crore 12 lakh 65,217.
1 crore 12 lakhs.
Yes, absolutely. So our capital gain will be zero. Capital gain will be zero.
Yeah.
Let's read out the question going forward. The said house property was sold again. The said house property is sold in which year? 31/10/2020, and he purchased another residential house property. So he sold again the same asset. He has purchased another. Okay. So that purchase is for 2 crore 57 lakhs on 2/3/2021. Now let's talk about the first thing. Now that we have claimed the exemption on the basis of this 2 crore,
Yeah.
now we are selling that asset within 3 years. We will be not allowed, or the capital gain exemption that we took, it will be reduced from our cost of acquisition. We'll see that.
Yeah.
Now regarding this new purchase, obviously again the same section will be applicable. The same section will be applicable in this new sell that he has done. Again, this exemption will be available based on the new purchase. Yeah. So any questions on that? No, right? Pretty much clear.
No, clear.
So this property at Panchkula was sold for 3,25,000. So let's look at it. The purchase consideration, sell consideration is 3,25,000. Our cost, if you notice, the cost for which the asset was purchased was 2 crore 5 lakhs. To acquire, as it was very clearly mentioned. Now, as we learned now, because he had claimed some exemptions based on that purchase, it is going to be disallowed. So it will be reduced from that cost. So 2 crore 5 lakhs minus 1 crore 12 lakh 65,217 is the new cost. So that's what we have to do. So 2 crore 5 lakh minus 1 crore 12 lakh 65,217. Then we carry on with our normal indexation part, because again this is more than 3 years. If you notice, purchase was on 12/27/2018, sell is on, this is less than 3 years only, my bad. Okay, so this is short term actually, so indexation will not be allowed. Okay, I have done indexation, that is incorrect. So this is actually short term, so indexation will not be allowed. So we'll be taking only 2 crores 5 lakhs minus 1 crore 12 lakhs 65,027, which comes to 92 lakhs 34,782. So our consideration was 3 crore 25 lakhs. From that we deduct this cost, and we get the capital gain of 2 crores 32 lakhs 65,217. We have made investment of how much? 2 crore
257.
We'll get the exact same, whatever capital gain is there, exact same exemption. So our capital gain will again be 0. So no matter what happened, his ultimate tax is 0 in both the years. Reason is selling and purchasing also. He's getting the benefit from that 54 section. Make sense? Yes?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now let's quickly cover the next one. I don't feel like there'll be question, but I just wanted to cover one more section so that in case theory questions are there, we can write something at least. So this is section 54 EC. This is applicable to all the SSCs, and this is for land and building or both. So here earlier we had residential house. This land and building is not necessarily a residential property. It can be any property. Land and building, both, any type of property is fine. So now what is the exemption available here is, you have to make one investment in a particular fund, one approved fund, and based on that you will be granted the exemption, and that has to be done within 6 months after the sell. So after the sell, within 6 months, you invest whatever money you have in that particular fund, and that much will be allowed as a exemption for you. Now the limit.
So Dheeraj, one more thing.
Yeah.
Even the capital gain which we have from sale of residential property, right?
Yeah.
That also need to be, if I am not buying in the same year,
Yeah.
that amount need to be deposited in a particular bank account, right?
Absolutely correct. So in order to claim the exemption in the year, because if you are, as you said correctly, if you are purchasing afterwards, you have not yet expended, you don't have any proof to show, that I'm going to invest it. So what the income tax department
That's right.
says is, if you have the motive of investing, then invest it in this fund. We have this fund opened with the banks. You invest it. If you have, we'll take it as a proof that you have the motive to purchase another house in the coming years, and will give you the grant you the exemption. So that is the procedural part. Again, I don't think that will be in the questions. So but absolutely correct. So but this 54 AC is a completely different provision, which says there is a separate fund with the banks. If you invest in that particular fund, this money will be granted as an exemption. Purpose doesn't matter, nothing else matters. If you are investing, you will be granted.
But how long do we need to remain invested?
Exactly same, 3 years.
Okay.
3 years. But there is a limit on the amount. The amount of investment cannot be more than 50 lakhs. So that is there. I don't feel like there will be a question on this, but still just for the purpose of provisions. Okay. Before I move forward, any questions?
No, I think this is clear.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So I'll quickly finish off the rest of the things that I have in mind, and we'll be completing everything today. And the next time we'll be meeting, we'll be only revising, and we'll start from salary, house property, and then all the heads, whatever we can.
Yeah.
Simply revise, we'll revise. If we can practice some questions, we'll practice. So I'll just rush a little bit, and only because
Sure.
the rest part, whatever is there, is not really that important. Even if the questions are there, those will be very straightforward based on the very face of the provision, I feel. So let's go on with it. So the other head that is remaining is other sources. By the name of it, you would be able to understand that whatever is not falling on other heads that we have already discussed will fall under other sources. So we have discussed salary, we have discussed house property, we have discussed business profession, we have discussed capital gains. Other than that, suppose you are receiving some dividend, you are receiving some lottery income, you are receiving some interest on some securities which is not being taxed under business profession. In that case, that will also fall under this head. If you are receiving gift more than 50,000 cash, or any other type of gift more than again 50,000, those will be coming under this head only. Interest on compensation and enhanced compensation. What is this? When the government actually forcefully acquires the property, often it does. Suppose there is a railway line going on. If the railway line has to, property of people will be forcefully acquired, and for that acquisition they pay compensation on it. And so any compensation they pay, not necessarily will be paid in the same year. They may pay after 2 years or 3 years, and they pay interest, heavy interest on that. So that is a again another income that is taxable under the head other sources. What is enhanced compensation? Something related to that only. Whatever compensation the government paid, you are not satisfied with it. You are making a case for it, and it goes to the courts, it goes to High Court, it goes to the Supreme Court. People literally goes up until Supreme Court to claim the enhanced compensation. So suppose Supreme Court granted the enhanced compensation, and the government is paying you the enhanced compensation, and the amounts are really heavy. And when they pay, the interest will be calculated again from the day on which they acquired the property till the date of payment. So again, the interest will also be heavy. So again, that will also fall under other sources. So there is no other specific things about this. The only thing that I want to discuss is one thing. Suppose you have
compensation. So one question, it's interest on compensation or enhanced compensation, but what about the compensation?
That is a whole separate thing. Imagine, let's talk about that for a second. If it is a compensation or enhanced compensation, why are you receiving it? You are receiving it for your property. In a way, I can say you have sold your property to government. That's why you're receiving that compensation or enhanced compensation.
Yeah.
So that falls under your capital gain. Yes. So your sell consideration
with the indexation and everything taken care.
Yes, the whole calculation will be separate there. Your compensation will be your sell consideration. You will have your cost, calculate that, and your capital gain will be calculated. However, if you are receiving interest on that compensation, that will be coming under this head of other sources. Okay, I can see that is clear. So I'm moving on to the new only numerical part that I want to discuss is this. Suppose you have you had applied on a particular lottery, you had purchased lottery ticket and you have won lottery from there. How much of in lottery income? In lottery income is 10 lakhs. Lottery income is 10 lakhs. When they pay you the money, no, they pay you 7 lakhs. Why is that? Can somebody tell?
Deduction at source.
Exactly. Deduction at source happens.
Maximum thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 30% is the rate actually.
Maximum
That is what they apply. So now my question to you is, how much is your income? 10 lakhs or 7 lakhs?
10 lakhs, because 3 lakhs they've deducted as taxes. So that will come as a part of your Form 16 or whatever it is, 26A.
Absolutely correct. So that is the concept that we should not be confused there. So 10 lakhs is the answer. Now I'll ask the question in a different way where people may get confused. I'll tell you, you have in the question it will be written that during the year, this person or this assessee has received 5 lakhs rupees as lottery income. He has received 5 lakhs. How much is the income then?
Five lakh divided by 0.7.
Yes, absolutely correct. 5 lakhs divided by 0.7, that comes to 7,14,285 is actually the correct answer. So we have to be careful there. Any questions? No, right?
No.
Awesome. Now let me quickly, so other sources is literally over. So set of carry forward. So what happens in set of carry forward is often when we have a loss from a particular head, again, I don't think there will be a numerical question from this, but because sir also discussed this, I feel like even if there is a theory question, that can be from this portion. So I just wanted to discuss that. So a set of carry forward is what? When there is a loss from a particular head and we want to utilize that loss to decrease the incomes from other heads. For example, suppose we have two businesses. Business at one location, business at another location. From one location, we are making a loss of 10 lakhs. In the other location, we are making a profit of 20 lakhs. Should the SSC not be allowed? Should not the SSC be allowed to set off these two profits and losses so that he can pay the tax on the net amount? Yes, right. That facility should be provided.
Yeah.
It is provided. So he definitely can adjust the losses with the profits, but there are some restrictions to it. Those restrictions we are going to discuss. Why restrictions? I'll tell you why. Suppose somebody has a gambling habit. He had invested good amount of money in gambling. Now he has other sources of income too. From the other sources of income, he has earned some suppose 20 lakhs. In gambling, he has lost suppose 30 lakhs. From other sources, he has earned 20 lakhs. In gambling business, he has lost 30 lakhs. Now, income tax department says gambling is, we don't, this is a purely separate thing. Even though it is legally permissible things that is done, still this is not a pure business, similar to the other businesses that a person does. So loss from that cannot be adjusted. We will not allow to be adjusted against your business income. When can you adjust? If tomorrow you make some income from gambling, if tomorrow you are making some income from gambling, you can adjust between that, but not with other type of income, which actually makes sense.
Dheeraj, yeah. This is basically everywhere it is, right? Your offsets can only be done in under the same head.
No.
Like if you have a capital gain, then capital gain losses also, capital losses also have to be offsetted again.
The one that you're talking about is for the next year. If you are carrying forward
next year
loss, in the next year it will be under the same head only. Now I'm talking about in the same year. In the same year, interhead can be done.
You are talking about the same year.
So, yeah, in the same year, interhead can be done. Okay, so I'm talking about that. Now that we have discussed, let's just quickly go through what are those exceptions. We don't have to remember, just have a glance through it. In case there is a theory questions, at least you can write something on it. So loss, so the first category is losses below can be set off only with such income. So it cannot be set off against any other type of income. Now here, when I say set off, that means in the same year, not in the next year, only in the same year. So speculation loss can be set off only against speculation income, not against any other income. Loss from specified business under section 35 AD. There are some specified businesses, especially with relation to tea, coffee, I think tobacco is also included there. So those specified businesses, if you are making a loss from, it can be adjusted only against that income from that exactly same type of business, not with any other type of income. Long-term capital loss, please mark, long-term capital loss cannot be adjusted with any other income. However, please mark, short-term capital loss is not recovered here. That means short-term capital loss can be adjusted with any other type of income. That's all right, but long-term capital loss cannot be. Okay. Loss from activities of owning and maintaining race horses, again something related to gambling, so that is included. Any loss from a source which is exempt from tax, and loss from casual income shall not be eligible for setup or carry forward. So forget about this casual income concept, again not covered in our concepts, or not in our what do you call it, course. So I'll be deleting that. We'll just say this one. Any loss from source which is exempted from tax. So this is very important. Suppose you have a business in how do you say, you have an agricultural income. Suppose you have an agricultural income, and we all know that agricultural income is actually exempted from tax. Nobody has to pay tax on your agricultural income. Now suppose in a year you are making a loss from the agricultural business. You want that loss to be income tax department? No. We are allowing you to not pay tax on the income from this source. We will also not allow you any benefit on the loss from this source also. If income is not being charged to tax, loss will also not be giving benefit to you. Makes sense, right? So whichever source which is exempt, loss from that will also cannot be adjusted with any other head. Okay. Now let's talk about interhead adjustments. What does it mean? As I was saying, no, in the same year we can adjust interhead also. So a business loss can be adjusted against so house property income, or like that interhead can also be done, but there are some exceptions to it. What are those exceptions? Loss under the head of professional gains of business profession against salary income. You are earning a salary, you have a business loss also. Business loss cannot be adjusted against your salary income. Salary. 1 second. Yeah. So again, similarly, loss from speculative business cannot be. If you notice, speculative business was there in the first category also. Exactly same thing is here. It is not allowed for the interhead adjustment also. Loss from speculative specified business was there in the top. It is there here also. Capital gain, capital loss was there. This is here also. Loss from activity of owning, maintaining, it was there in the top. It is here also. Similarly, one additional thing is, loss from a house property can be set up against any income. However, such loss shall not exceed 2 lakhs. Now, only two extra from the above category are: one is your PGBP in loss, business loss cannot be adjusted against salary income. House property loss can be adjusted against other incomes, but only till 2 lakhs. This is why people tell you, if you are paying interest on your residential property, if you are paying interest on your residential property, it is allowable till 2 lakhs. Here it is coming from. Make sense? Have you heard before that if you are paying interest on your house property, it will be allowed till 2 lakhs? Yes. This is the provision.
Yeah, that's known. Yeah.
This is the provision that is actually bringing up that thing. Okay, now let's talk about something specifically about the house property loss. House property loss can be carried forward. Now we are moving on from the setup. Now we are carrying forward to the next year. It can be carried forward and set up only with income from house property. Obviously, basic thing. It can be carried forward only for 8 assessment years. So it can be carried forward only for 8 assessment years. Similarly, business loss it can be carried forward and set off against same head. Similar, I mean, all the incomes for that matter, if it is being carried forward, it will be adjusted only under same head. It cannot, inter-head adjustment is not allowed other than the first year. Okay. It can be carried forward for 8 assessment year also. So house property loss, business loss, both are 8 assessment years. Carry forward and set off is available to assessee who incurred the loss. Basic thing, I wouldn't have to include. Okay, I'll delete that part. It is not relevant for us. Okay. Now, very quickly, let's move on to, okay, any questions on this, please? Okay, pure theory. So I just,
so Dheeraj,
yeah, please.
There can be a theoretical question on this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There can be. Mostly, I feel like there will be a theory question from this, and there can be a numerical, but I don't think he will put numerical questions on this because this becomes very complicated, especially at our level. Okay. Now, let's talk about deductions a little bit. We are all familiar with ATC, ATD, all that. There are so many deductions available, in fact. So I'll not discuss much about it. So ATC, as we know, the limit is 1,50,000. There are so many things covered. We all must be knowing, especially salaried people, be it health insurance, life insurance, equity linked investments, and etc. So everything is included there. The total limit is 1,50,000. Now there is something called ATD, which is purely dealing with our health checkups, health insurance for the parents, and almost all that is covered in that. Now, ATD had some limits to it. I was thinking whether I should include this table or not. I just included. You don't have to remember these numbers. Just have a glance through it, so that in case there is a theory questions, you will be writing something at least. So what it says is in respect of health insurance premium, so there is separate limits. So one limit is for self, spouse, and dependent children. The second one is for parents, whether dependent or not, doesn't matter. Now, what it does is, in case of a health insurance, it says if there is no senior citizen, then there is another limit, some limit. If there are, assessee and family members are not senior, but one parent is a senior citizen, then there is another limit. If assessee and his parents, all of them are senior citizens, then there is another limit. So maximum limit, if you see, you can take benefit of 1 lakh, up till 1 lakh of benefits from this provision. So if you are making health insurance or preventive health checkup, what is preventive health checkup? You're making some checkups or health related, any hospital expenses cannot also be included here, not a problem. Now, similarly, medical expenditure is covered here, like medical expenditure I was talking about. Exactly similar type of exemption are available. I'm not going in detail about it, just these are the categories and these are the the values, those are allowed as exemption under this, deductions under this section. There are so many other sections.
Dheeraj, on the point A, right?
Yeah.
It says health insurance premium and preventive health checkup. So there are two aspects, right? One, in office itself, we at times allow parents to be included. So that anyway, they give it as a form 16, right? So that they deduct and all that is done.
Yeah.
This is mostly on our part where we are buying it from outside, right?
Correct. So,
and this, yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
And preventive health checkup is it once a year, or if we go like somebody has a say cholesterol, they do checkup every 3 months.
Any type,
not full checkup, but any type of checkup.
Any type of checkup. This is the best
the time
provision.
Is 25,000.
Absolutely. So this is the best provision where, if you are, any major medical things that you are doing, always keep the invoices with you. That would help you to take benefit in income tax. And I think better than health checkup is the expenditure. So we have parents.
But that's only on the senior citizen, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we have parents and on them, if we are making some.
So my mother, when she has gone through this recently,
yeah.
So there was suppose 2 lakhs of expenditure, but 1.5 lakhs was paid by insurance. So will that remaining 50 be applicable for this one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that is that. So this is another very famous section which almost everybody uses, which is why I included these two only. Mostly people use these two sections, and there are so
Okay.
many other sections you can go through if you want. If you're interested, please do. There are so many sections, and almost you find so many charts people have prepared, and very short form of remembering those you can also find through Google. Not a problem. So but briefly, this is what about the deductions. Even if there is a theory questions, I feel there will be either on ATC or ATD. In ATC, just remember, try to revise those, what are the sources, like as I said, very basic ones is health insurance, life insurance, equity linked schemes, and there are so many under that. So just remember few so that you can write down something in case there is a theory question from that. So that is that. Almost we are done with everything. Now, as I was saying, next time we're meeting, we'll be revising the concepts. We'll start from the salary, house property only, then we'll
Salary. Yeah. Sure,
any questions? No, right?
No.
I think this is good.
Yeah, perfect. We'll wind up then. Maybe tomorrow.
Sure, thanks.
We'll meet up. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Good night.